Hello, kindergarten, and welcome to our writing lesson for the week. We're going to be going over something called five-star writing. Again, it's called five-star writing. And this is a great way to make sure that when you're writing your sentences, you're writing your stories, that your work is fantastic and great. It's not just okay, it's great and it's wonderful to read. So here are some of the things that you need to remember as you are writing your stories. Remember to use a capital letter at the beginning of your sentence, and wherever a capital letter is needed, such as maybe a name or a certain place. And then, of course, we want to make sure we have punctuation. Sometimes when you're writing, you might forget to put a period or a question mark or an exclamation mark. So make sure that if your sentence needs a period, you're putting that big fat period at the end of your sentence. And then don't forget to use finger spaces. You don't want your words to be super tight together, but you also don't want big, big fat gaps. That's not good either. So you want to make sure you're using that finger space, using your finger in between words. Then you want to make sure that your handwriting is nice and neat. And then you also want to make sure, does your sentence make sense? Does it match your picture? That if somebody were to see your picture and then read your sentence, would they go, oh yeah, that matches, it makes sense. So again, make sure you have all of these things present in your story to make your story absolutely great and wonderful to read. And also don't forget to use your sight words. Use your sight word wall to help you to spell the words that you're using in your story. So again, capital letters, punctuation like periods, using the finger space in between words, make sure your handwriting is nice and neat, and that your sentence makes sense. And also don't forget to use your sight words. So let's go ahead and get started. As you know, whenever we are writing, we want to make sure that we are taking some time to think about our story. We want to make sure we're taking time to think about our story. So I'm going to take a moment to think about something that I have done before. And sometimes I like eating lunch outside in the park. So I'm going to think of what I'm doing out in the park, which I'm eating my lunch, and what am I eating? What am I drinking? So I'm going to think, I know that I'm going to need to draw grass as well as some trees, the sun, and I also want to make sure that I'm drawing what I'm drinking, like Pepsi, and then I'm eating, maybe some chocolate chip cookies and a sandwich. So again, I want to make sure I'm thinking of all the things that I want to draw in my picture, and I want to make sure that my picture is going to match my sentence. So first, let's get started with the picture. I'm going to go ahead and start to draw the park. And don't forget, when you're drawing your picture, make it as detailed as possible, and don't forget to write your labels. I'm going to draw lots of grass around the area. And then I want to try to draw a tree. So I might draw a couple of trees. And then I think I'll draw the sun, sky shining brightly. And then, of course, I want to make sure that I draw myself sitting on the grass. And I have my lunch with me, so I want to make sure I kind of draw a blanket, because when you go outside to eat on the grass, you have your blanket in front of you to put your stuff down. And one of my favorite things to drink is Pepsi. I'm gonna draw my Pepsi can. And maybe I have some chocolate chip cookies for dessert. And then I have a sandwich. And again, I don't want to forget to draw to write my labels as well as add some more details if I can. So I know that this is a tree, so I know I can spell that out. Tree, tree, I know that's an R, tree, tree. So I can spell tree. And then I know this is the sun, that's the sun. And then of course I can spell the word grass. Grass. And then of course I drew myself, so I want to make sure that I write the label me next to myself in the picture. So again, I'm adding lots of details. I could even maybe draw some birds in the sky. They're flying around. So I can add lots of details and add lots of labels. So now it's time to write. And this is where we really want to think about our 5-star writing. Are we thinking about punctuation? Are we thinking about our capital letters? Are we using our finger spaces? Does my sentence make sense? Let me go ahead and get started. So I know that with 5-star rating, I know I need to make sure that I have a capital letter in my sentence. So as I'm thinking about my sentence, I want to think about what I'm going to write. So I know that I'm eating lunch in the park. 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 So again, I want to think about my story at least 5 times to make sure that I know what I want to say. I'm eating lunch in the park. So again, I want to think about that 5-star rating. Capital letter at the beginning of my sentence. So here I go. So and I know am is a sight word. I am eating. I know eat is a sight word, so I know how to spell eat. Eating, hear that I sound, eating, g. I am eating lunch. And I also want to remember my finger spacing. So I can do finger spacing, lunch, lunch, on lunch. And I remember that digraph, the ch sound like in chicken or in church, that's CH. CH says ch. I am eating lunch in the park. Ark. Okay, so I think I'm done. I am eating lunch in the park. But I know I have to go back and check my 5-star writing. So let's see here. Did I follow all of the steps? Capital letter to start my sentence. So yes, I have the capital letter to start my sentence. So check that off. Punctuation to end my sentence. So do I have a question mark? Do I have a period? So let me go ahead and check. So I am eating lunch in the park. Ooh, I made a mistake. I did not have my punctuation. So I know that I'm saying something, I'm not asking a question, and I'm not yelling. So I don't need a question mark, and I don't need an exclamation mark. I just need a big fat period. So don't forget, look at the end of your sentence. Do you have a period? Do you have a question mark? Do you have an exclamation mark? So now I know that my writing is going to be better because I remembered to look back at my chart. I'm adding punctuation. Then it says use finger spaces. Well, for the most part, I was using finger spaces. 1, 2, 3. Oops. So it looks like I made a mistake. I made too big of a gap and wasn't using a finger space. But I don't have to get upset or get frustrated, I can just cross it out and then I can try again. I make my finger space and now I know I should have written it just like that. So again, erase it, start over, check your work. Do you have the correct finger spaces? So now my writing looks better and I fixed my mistake. Let's keep going. Use neat handwriting and phonetic spelling. So again, my handwriting is nice and neat. It's not sloppy or messy. And I made sure to stretch out my words as I was saying them. So again, make sure the letters are matching the sounds. So you stretch out your words and then don't forget to use your sight word wall as well. And then lastly, does my sentence make sense? Does it match my picture? If I'm saying that I'm eating lunch in the park, I drew a picture of myself in the park. I drew the grass, I drew the trees, the sun shining in the sky, I've got my blanket, I have my food, I'm eating and I'm drinking. So yes, it matches my sentence. My picture and sentence, they match. So make sure your stuff matches and that it doesn't look like you drew maybe yourself going to Gizmos or Disney World, but your sentence is talking about you having a sleepover with a friend or you eating pizza at your mom and dad's house. Make sure your sentence and your picture match, okay? So again, this is what 5-star writing is all about. You want to make the best picture and sentences possible, the way you look like you're ready for first grade. And again, you don't have to just write one sentence. You can write 2, you can write 3. You can challenge yourself. But don't forget, look over the 5-star chart. Do you have capital letters? Do you have punctuation? Are you using finger spacing? Is your handwriting nice and neat? Are you sounding out your words to spell? Does it make sense? And don't forget to use your sight word wall. So I cannot wait to read all of your amazing stories and see all of your amazing pictures. Let's get started. Bye for now.